Hello, and welcome back to Factorio Bot Maze. We are back in the maze, and as you can see from the map, we have fixed our rail problem. So if you remember at the end of last time, we had the most horrendous deadlock. And the deadlock was because of two things. First of all, junctions like this. Oh, let's find one of the old style junctions. Don't have many left. Okay, junctions like this, where for a train to go around it, so here, if it wanted to go north, that's fine, it could just go around up. However, if a train was coming down and it wanted to go west, it would have to travel all the way around and out. That gave it 3 track crossings for something which should have been 0 crossings. So that inflated the number of train-on-train crossings. That led to many more contentions between trains at high load, and because of that, deadlocks. The second problem was things facing the wrong way. So this is an example here, although it's not causing a trouble because it's low volume. So this is the piercing ammo build, and you can see the tracks, the exits, point downwards. But the only way to get out if you go down is to go around and up and out. Right, so any train coming into this build has contention with trains going out of it. Had this build been built that way, then trains coming in would have gone into the station and then out without crossing over. Now, for builds like this which are low volume, not a big problem. However, we had our main coal here, then we had empty coal trains here, which had to go around and up there, and then we had full coal trains here, which then had to go around there. So we'd managed to turn a corner which should have been 0 contention into something where every coal train had to cross around it at least 6 times. And it was that multiplicative effect of trains pathing across themselves and across each other which led to deadlocks. So what I've been doing is putting in these corners, which we designed last time. I've been putting them in whenever I can. A couple of builds have been moved. So I've moved a green science build down to here. I've moved parking for various materials here. So all the science and the commodities for military and everything but red circuits for blue science are down here. Yeah, we're still waiting for things to actually build. I've deployed a second red circuit train, which seems to have helped things, and basically remodeled all of this. We did have parking in this area and in this area, and then a loop around here. What I've done is snapped the loop. Then I've put one lot of parking down here and another lot of parking down here. And that appears to work. So although there is theoretically quite a lot of contention on this rail, getting in and correspondingly getting out, in practice, because the trains are usually parked, that doesn't cause a problem. What else is going on? Oh yeah, we've nearly mined out this iron patch. So this was our first iron outpost. It's really nice to see it nearly gone. We're down to 5 mining drills, 7, 8, 9 mining drills. So when those 9 mining drills have gone, we can retire this mine, which will be really nice. At that point, we should probably put down another iron mine. We have one here, we have one here. Any of those will do. But it does give us this dead end, which we could then fill up with something. Now, I don't really want to use it for parking, because we've already got a lot of parking here. I also don't want to use it for a high volume production cell, because the materials we bring in would then have to go past the parking. So I'm in 2 minds. I may just fill it up with a solid bank of solar and capacitors, or I may, which is probably the sensible thing to do, to be honest. Alternatively, I may end up doing some manufacturing here of shop related things. Start shifting some of the things we're making in Gallifrey out. I'm not sure. We may find that these builds here for the higher tier assemblers and smelters become a bottleneck, in which case it might make sense to turn this purely into a bot-based fabrication system, where we have trains here which dump resources into storage basically, and then are called in using the management system only if we run low on that material. So that might work, which would mean we would need to do only copper and iron smelting in this area, which again we can do with electric furnaces, and we can use the beaconed ones. So that's a possibility. Anyway, that's all to catch up with what I've been doing off camera. What we were doing before everything went to hell was looking at what builds we would need for high-tech science, which I think is now called utility science. So we have everything we need for the purple science, and this will all be coming in as and when the red circuits become available. Let's check. So this is now building. This is requesting red circuits. Yeah, it's just we need a red circuit train for this. Yeah, so there's an empty one. They're just not being made at the speed we need yet. We're also getting lots of attacks here. You can see we're actually missing a turret. So I'm going to have to do something about that. I kind of want to wait until I have personal laser defenses, but they're a little way off. Let's have a look. Okay, so personal laser defenses we could do now. Oh, in fact, we have that unlocked. Okay, so I may do that. Yeah, so I may go make a suit with personal laser defenses in. But for that we need blue circuits. So let's have a look at this blue circuit build. This is one we ratioed out before. Let's stick some ore into things to stop them flashing. So this is iron ore. That's iron. That's copper. And this is roughly ratioed out. So I'm hoping that this runs a blue science machine at full speed. It's not going to, because the green circuit machine is running at 1/3 speed, because the smelters are only producing 1/3 of the plates needed for the green circuits. However, we may be able to balance this out by using higher tier smelters and potentially a higher tier. Right, so let's work all this through. So we would be about, well, 0.167 under. So 25 out of 150 under for green circuits. So I think the first thing is to bring that up to speed. Right, that's probably, each one of these is a 20% speed boost. So I only need one of these, I think. So that should have brought the green circuit's now in credit. All right. Now, we are well under for the copper machine. So let's just stick speed mods in it. And now the copper is 10% under, 0.9. All right, so the copper machine will have to be a higher tier assembler. And we're just interested in the... Okay, so that produces loads more than we need. Take that out. That's still more than we need. And if we add prob mods, Yeah, that's really good. All right. That's a lot of prop mods. I kind of want to wind this back. 0.38, 0.57. Okay. There's a saddle point here. Let's try it with one module. Okay, so 2 seems to be the magic number at the moment. Okay, well, let's leave it like that. To run this, I need 180 iron, and obviously the smelter does not produce anything like that. 37. Okay. So we could put in a super duper smelter with full productivity modules. Okay, we need 180, we're producing 125. So that's not enough for the green circuit machine. But I think that's as good as we can do. Okay, so then let's have a look at the other smelter, see how much we can improve that. And we'll do the same thing here. Okay, so we are 2 copper smelters below what we need. So, all right, so it's looking like this build will never run the blue machine at full speed. I think the thing to do is to just cut our losses. It's really important that we have blue circuits. So pull that out. We're just going to fill those with modules and hope that the extra modules carry us through. Okay, as far as that goes, we are under on red circuits. So I think, again, let's just whack down one of those and fill it with modules. Okay, so I think this is as good as we can do. This will get us as close as possible. The plastic now, how are we doing for plastic? So we still have an excess of plastic, we'll have an excess of sulfur. Just to confirm, yeah, way more sulfur. And we have an excess of iron for the sulfur machine. Do we? Well, we need a lot more iron to run the sulfur machine at full speed, but we're running the sulfur machine at such a fraction of its capacity that it doesn't matter. So I think this is our build, and then it becomes a question of how we fit this between the rails. Now, until now, I have been building hard up against this roboport. The issue with that, in this brave new world of better rail junctions, is actually, let's show you down here. Okay, so that's like building on this one, okay? The issue is that we actually have to cross stuff here to get the rail out. So what we need to do now is start one away. Even that's not right, is it? So rather than building up against the top one, we could start building up against the bottom one. And we could have a look at what that... Yeah, so I think this is a better idea. Now, luckily, all our existing builds, if we wanted to, we could just pick up and move. There we are. All right, so that's going to have to be our new normal with a request to stop here and a signal there and there. So let's take a blueprint of that. With a request to stop. And that can go into our rail book. Okay, so we've got this one at the top, that one at the bottom, and that one in the middle. I think it's a fairly good set. So I think we just need to make sure we don't build up to the very top. All right, so the first thing we need is a copper iron. Now, luckily, we have a copper iron, several of them. Let's see if we can... This is a copper iron facing downwards. I want a copper iron that faces upwards. Okay, this is an old-fashioned copper iron. I don't think I want to copy this because this one uses filter inserters rather than logic. What else? Do we have any here? Nope. So I may not have the thing I want. Okay, well, we'll do it bit by bit. So, first of all, I want this part here. So this is copper and iron unloading. All right. Then I want this shenanigans here, which is the logic. Good, although clearly not the name. We're going to rename that to blue chips are called processing units. Okay, and then we need to wire these inputs to these two boxes. Good, so that's that bit done. Then grab a smelter and I'm going to leave a single tile in the middle of the build to route things. All right. So that's the smelting. The next thing is the green circuit machine. The green circuit machine needs to be lined up with the iron. That's good, this is the iron. And so then we come to the question of spacing. And do I leave a tile between things this way or not? Don't think I'm going to. Copy that. Well, let's see what it looks like without the space and with the space. And then the same for this. Right, and then we can go without and with the space. Okay, and then we can do this. So that without, with, without, with, and with. So that's the fully spaced build on the far side. It's just, if there's more space, it's easier to get the inserters, but equally we start to run out of room. So we would need rail. Okay. So one place the rail could go is here. We have a bit of a problem. Okay, so we need to feed this with fluid. All right. So realistically, that could go there because we could bring an underground directly down. Okay. Let's take that and move that over one. Let's take all of that and move that over one so it lines up. So it's still within a 7-tile footprint. It's just aligned to that side because of this pipe. Okay, this needs petroleum and it needs coal. And then this, so we would need a tank and a pump. Okay, and this is where the rail would go with our most compressed build possible. So you can see it more than fills up the available space. Which is not great. So the other way to do this is to build it around a central roboport. So it becomes a build around the entire square. But then we have the issue of getting plastic right. That's as long as I can make an arm. Right, and there is physically room to put a truck in here, but it hits that pipe. And if we could put this a tile higher, which it goes in twos, it would hit that pipe. So this will have to go via an intermediate box. Okay, so I think this is the first bit we need to figure out. Right, so the first thing we know for sure is that this has to go up. Okay, then we have some room to play here. But we need to somehow fit around this central furniture. So let's cut that. Okay. I can take out the big power pole, but I can't take out power poles, but I don't want to take out the roboport. Okay. And that tank collides with the roboport. Okay, how else could we do this? So the rail collides with it there. I don't want to do this as two builds. I really want to try and do this as a single build. Okay, there's not realistically a tile that I can pinch on the blue circuit side. Right, Let's put that down there for a moment. Right, that's slam bang in the middle of the roboport. Is it possible to make it fit even in principle? So let's put one of these here. I could move all of this build one to the right. That would be fine. Okay, so let's copy this, just this. Okay, so there is a place where this fits around the roboport. Take that away, take that away, take that away. Okay, so there's this place here where it fits. So if we put a... Let's use our blueprint book since we have them. Okay, so that would be exactly there. And that's the only arrangement. So that could go up to there. I'm just putting in 5 because we're going to have to trim one off the left or one off the right. I'm not sure if this is going to work. All right. Okay, so the problem here is that this tank is filling up from the locomotive. So this end build has to go. All right, this build is possibly okay. It's loading from the end of the carriage, which is never perfect, but it could work. The problem with this is that don't know if you can see. So this here is 2 tiles from the edge, and we need all 6 tiles here to be in a line. Now we may be able to finagle it to get these smelters to line up with this build. But the problem is we need this here. So we would need to move this 2 tiles to the right. And we can only move it 1 tile to the right and still keep that in place. I may have some leeway. Yeah, I may have 1 tile in it. I may have 1 tile in hand for this back carriage, moving the station. I'm not entirely sure. All right, how else can we do this? Okay, that lines up. So that would work. Except now, take that away, that way, that way. Does this fit? No, it doesn't. Well, that's just frustrating, isn't it? So I've got this option. But this moves the whole build rightwards. And let's put it back how it was. Okay. So this is the best we can do. Let's pull all of this up, because it was a nice thought experiment, but it's happened now. Okay, so I need this to line up there, and it lines up here. Or I need it to line up there. So if I switch the whole of this around, okay, let's have a look. So this is now copper on this side, iron on this side. Don't need to do anything with the smelters. Swap them around there. Put those there. That lines up. Okay. That's 4 tiles further down, and is that right? So if we had rail there, let's just copy this to double check. Yeah, so it won't fit how I would like it to, so we're going to have to do this weird build. It does mean we have a lot of space in the middle. But then I guess that means we can space this all out. So let's move that all up 1. Move that up 1. Right, have we now lost all our space? We have. All right, let's blueprint down this. Good. So then how on earth do we get the plastic to this? Well, I guess we can pick the whole of this station up and shift it upwards. That's not a problem. Let's put in all the inserters. Okay, so we're just going to use stack inserters. This is probably technically not required, but I just can't be bothered with using other types of inserters at this point. So that would be that. And the problem we have is moving this plastic to this red machine. Okay. So let's just grab a blueprint of this much. So I could move it up 2 tiles. Right, if we moved it up 2 tiles, we could have a steel box here. Okay, so that's the furthest away I can drop. Okay, so then that's the plastic into this machine. That works. Then I need blue circuits out and then onto the train. Okay, so I'm looking at this arrangement here. This if I'm moving the blue machine up 2 tiles, there's not enough room for this. So I'd need to move that to there. So that would pick up from the side and put across diagonally. Right, so that's up 2. That fits. That's up 2. That fits. Let's grab the whole of this. There. And I think that is our self-contained build. Okay, so what we're missing is coal for the plastic. But other than that, I think that is everything. So let's take this. One. Don't tell me this doesn't line up. Is there? Oh, it does, yeah. So it's my stupidity. All right, so this pipe here needs moving there. And then let's copy it with that because it's easier to locate correctly. Okay, so that's the plastic. And I'm hoping the fluids can unload here reliably. The whole thing needs powering. let's take that midline, hold down shift and get rid of the rail. Okay, then we can paste it down there, there, and there. And the roboport means we need an extra pole. In fact, I'm just going to move all of these. To be there. Great, then lights. Because we care about lights these days. Something is wrong here. Okay, so this is our correct set of inserters. That should have fixed it for all the others. Awesome. What are we waiting for? 100 prob mods. Okay, so I need to alter my expectations for the production modules. Let's pick this all up. Yeah. So I need to change my logistics request. At the moment, I still want these to happen by hand because they're expensive resources. All right, so let's travel back, get our missing prop mods. And then when we come back to here, we need to set up the logistics. I want to go to okay. So when we get back, I'll need to set up the missing circuitry. Right, we've got an example of petroleum circuitry at the red circuits. So, and this also does coal. Okay, let's have a look, see if this will work. We still haven't decided where coal is coming in. But I think bringing coal in at the back is not a problem, is it? So we could bring coal in here. Yeah, so then we'd have a coal unload. All right, so let's go back over to the copy that and lose the arm. And blueprint it down the other way up. So we'll do we've got issues with here. Okay, so that's not going to happen. We would need to bring the coal in. Okay, I'll have to do that in person to figure it out. Because now the coal is clashing with the plastic out. We can't bring coal in here because of the roboport. So it has to come in the bottom. Okay, that's a problem to fix in person. So, I want lots of these. I want 200 of them. They seem to be being made quite quickly. Let's go have a look. Okay, so we only had one stack in that buffer. I think I'm more interested in manufacturing speed. We can put down our super duper assemblers here and here. And fill them with speed modules. Okay, can't fill them with speed modules. Well, I've got 100 and that's all I needed, isn't it? You can see this whole area is a lot less busy now that we have the logistics all working correctly. I found some trains which were still on fixed schedules. Okay, off we go. It's nice to see all these trains parked. I just wish they were parked with more science in them. So let's have a quick look. This is the next science which should finish. That's up to 5.6k, so we're not there yet. This is requesting circuits and it hasn't got any. I may have to investigate what's going on there because that looks suspicious. That looks like a broken build. And I can imagine that by the time we do actually get science working, I may have already upgraded all the machines to be beaconed. Well, it's a lot nicer not going around all those loops. Even if it means we go around some wiggles. Okay. Stop. All right. So let's work out the coal situation. That should have finished off the modules. Yeah, there we go. So I need to bring coal into this machine. However, this machine also can I move that over? Okay. Is that actually doing it? Yeah, it is. So then can I move this over? All right, so that needs to drop into the box. Sorry, drop into the box and pick up. So that's correctly targeted. Okay, that's 3 unload inserters. So that is correct, I think. Then we need an inserter to get the coal in. That all looks to be correct. Then that's unloading the blue circuits. It's a really cramped build. All right. So these are our control circuits here. So this inserter will be enabled when the blue chip signal is present. That is, we have a train for blue chips. This will be enabled when we have a train for coal. Yeah, I think that's correct. Then we can copy this, get rid of. Right, so once, twice, 3 times. And then let's do it again with all of this, just to make sure, get rid of the rail. Once, 2, 3, 4. Then we need to link across here. And I think it's more consistent to do that. So that's enabled on blue circuits, that's enabled on blue circuits, that's enabled on coal. So I think that's all correct. Okay, we don't need any heroic. This has its existing heroics, and this circuit here is not joined up to any of the others. And in fact, it's all legacy red wire. So I'm going to redo all of this with green wire. Right, we have two different colored wires. And I kind of want to get into the habit of using the red wires for data collection and the green wires for controlling actions. Should make it a bit more visually distinct what's going on. All right, so I think that's all wired up correctly. We do not need... Basically, that can go down there, that can go. There. Then we need to collect that to there. Good. Make that T for consistency. Okay, and this will be enabled when, yep. So that's the petroleum. This one is copy paste, so it should be correct, but I'm gonna have a look anyway. 400 for copper and iron, and this is T and this is U. Yeah. Then this has 2 trains to call in. Have I been doing this over the... Yeah, I have been doing it over the top. Okay. And let's wire all this together. So wire these 2 inputs to... This is the coal chest, and this is the blue circuits chest. So you see why I wanted different colored wires here. It's just too visually cluttered to do it with one color. Then we will wire out to the lamp, then we'll do lamp, lamp, that thing. All right, so that's all powered up. Copy those over, they're obviously not what we want. So this one is going to be coal. In fact, yeah, so this is, don't know why I bothered copying it. It would have been quicker to just do it. Okay, and then this should be enabled when trains is less than T. Right, this one I want to be trains is less than U. And I want this to output U. Good, and that should be reading blue circuits are greater than. Now, what do they stack in? I've got a feeling blue circuits stack in hundreds rather than 200s. In which case we want to call in a train whenever we have greater than or equal to 4,000. Good. And I'm just going to check that. So, processing units. Blue circuits, blue chips. Have a stack size of 100. Yes, that's correct. So, next thing. Let's set all these names. Okay, so this is processing units. Petroleum gas, and this is blue circuits 1. Blue circuits 1. Blue circuits 1 for copper and. Alright, let's have a look. That seems to be named correctly. What else have we got? We need to bring in water. Alright, so that's probably our last thing. And then we can fire this up. And I'll tell you what, this has been a bit of a monumental build. Now, where do I want to bring... I think I want to bring the water out from behind. Good. Wow. Threaded the needle there. And we need an offshore pump, which are something I just can't ever seem to find. Let's check there's water in this. Okay. Now that's filled up with water. That's the water dealt with. So let's start activating these. This is going to request petroleum, a full fluid wagon. Good, and that's incoming. This is going to request coal, a full cargo wagon. And that is incoming. This is going to request iron, a cargo wagon, and that's incoming. This is going to request copper, a cargo wagon, and that will come in later once the iron has been delivered. So I'm going to sit here. My train is probably in the way. Let's put a signal there. Yeah, just so that my train doesn't block the rail. And we're going to stand here and watch to see if this works, because my experience has been if you do not see it working, it might not work. Alright, so that's the fluids. We have fluids. Good. I was a bit worried that this might not work on the end, but it did. So that's in. This has all the petroleum it needs. We have forgotten sulfur. Alright, so this will all get queued up. We need sulfur. So where is the sulfur going to go? It's going to have to come in here. Okay, so let's start filling this out. This is going to output a V. going to measure the amount of sulfur. Sulfur stacks in 50s, I think. So when sulfur is less than 400, output of E. Let's add the wires. Okay, so that's all wired in. The only place we can put some inserters is here. Good Lord. Then we'd have to... Is that correct? Yep. Then this is going to have to pick up from... Whoops. Okay, that doesn't need to be quite so extreme that side. That doesn't reach the box. Okay, well I think that's the best we can do. We need to wire these together with our green wire. Like that. So now these are part of the green wire network. They need to be active on sulfur. Okay, so I think that's all done. Let's check. That feeds the sulfur across from this box. This will be hella slow to unload, but don't really care right now. Okay, this needs capping to 1 stack. Good. So the last job is this. Let's just check. We've had copper and iron through there. So this schedule needs to be sulfur, a train full. Enabled when incoming trains are less than V. There you are. So we have a sulfur train coming in. I wonder how many other things where we have intermediate boxes I've not capped the intermediate box. I'll have to go around all the builds and check that, because that could be a major resource sink. Particularly if it's an expensive item, you could end up turning the entire map into items in a buffer box. If this works, then it's a genius work of art. And I will copy it and possibly post it on Reddit. Right, so where could we, if we wanted a second one of these builds, let's just shift click, lose these pipes, because these are the ones which I'm going to put in 1 per build. Right, where could this physically go? So I can't put one here because we're already using that rail. So it would have to go here. Yeah, so I think let's lay the groundwork for that and take out all of that. Okay, so sulfur's come in. Ooh, manual. All right. Hold down Shift, edit out rail. So they're not doing too badly emptying this. Okay, so let's see. This has sulfur. It's missing iron plate. Because there's an iron plate smelter we need. Okay. So I was going to stick it in this gap, which we do not have because of this Roboport. Now it can go above. Yeah, because we can't use this space here, so this will be an iron smelter. We will have a box here which feeds the smelter. Okay, 3 arms. I don't need any circuitry because the only other train that comes in here is a fluid wagon. Good. Then this needs to go into the smelter, which isn't going to happen. Okay, let's put down an intermediate buffer box. Oh. Yeah, because we have to work around this. So let's design it for this one. And that doesn't reach. So I'm not sure how to get this iron.
Dad,
Hey, sweetheart.
you were trying to squirt me in a way I was going on a water slide.
So you were playing water games with other children, and they squirted you with water in the water game. That's very sad, but it
trying
sounds...
to go on the slide.
Yeah? Trying to go on the slide?
Yeah, but they just squirt me because it's a water slide.
I know, it's a water slide, so they squirt you with water, because it's a water slide.
Oh, I'm in the wrong costume.
Off you go. Enjoy.
I've got... Ow.
Oh,
That's a bit of stone.
a bit of stone in your shoe.
Yeah, my godparents always got holes in.
Okay. Yeah, so that's my life at the moment. I'm cheekily attempting to record this during the day. Right, how else could this work? The issue is that our drop tile is limited, and there's a pipe here. This is a bit of a humdinger, isn't it? I may have actually met my match. I have 2 tiles here. I have 1 tile here. Can I somehow put something in that tile? Right, this is one tile too high to get there. Okay, if we take that away... Oh, my inventory is full. Get rid of these. Alright. So, if we put the inserter there... then it can target this square. Then we can... insert from this square. Okay, cap that to 1 stack. So that's got us to there. Then we have this, 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 this. So this then needs to pick it can't quite reach across the track. Okay, so from here to that box, from that box to there. Let's take all of these out. I'm aware I've probably deleted an important cable somewhere. Okay, so... hold down Shift to get rid of the rail. Okay, then I can get rid of that, that, and that roboport, because they're not needed or wanted. Then... where's the consistent place to power this up? It's to the right there. Okay, that's there. And I think... okay, we now have this missing power in every single build. Okay, I think that is correct. But it's getting to the limit of what I can trace by eye. I think the only way to do this is to try it, and we'll throw down some extra lights. Okay, and then a couple of lights up here, just because, actually. Good. Alright, so we can now add to this one from this box, which is the iron. Good. We need to re-establish that. Okay, since we're doing it this way, let's take that out and go from there to there. That's more consistent. Consistent means more likely to work next time I edit it. So this is now all one network. Right, this is going to be an iron, so I can just copy that over. Okay, now this is trying to call in copper and failing. So why is that? Let's have a look. So this is our couple of copper stations. This doesn't have sufficient copper. This does. I'm not quite sure why this copper isn't producing. Water and petroleum is all it needs, I believe, and it has both. Oh, no, it has insufficient. It has insufficient petroleum, so the petroleum must all be going to something else. Okay, well, I'll come back to that later. Is this? No. So where does the sulfur train park? It parks over here. Okay, so we do not have a full one. We do not have an empty one, which means we must have a sulfur train in transit. Oh, that's heading to blue circuits. That's good. So that's that mystery solved. We have can't believe we have this. Right. So this is now waiting on circuits. But we have sulfuric acid. Alright, so these arms were the wrong way around. Good. This has all the green circuits it needs. Ah, we don't have red circuits because we were not passing them over. Okay, so that's going to pick from there, drop there. Good lord. And what's wrong here? So this is calling in a sulfur train. It's saying sulfur is less than. Okay. That's better. I was missing a cable, so it wasn't reading the sulfur. Does this produce? It does. It's slightly behind on red circuits. Okay, the red circuits are being held up by copper. And the copper is running at full speed. So the solution to this is better copper furnaces. And I think what I'm going to do is copy this apparently building build, edit out these pipes. Actually, not edit out those pipes. We're going to leave those in. Just edit out those bottom ones. Okay, we are going to stamp down a second copy of this. Good. So to do that, I need to get rid of that and that. I've got a feeling we'll be fine with a single water pipe. I'd like to put down as much of this as I can. Great. What am I missing? I think everything else can be built. Right, I think this is where I'll leave it. My children are revolting. Let's go to Gallifrey, and I will see you again soon when life will be quieter and I'll have more building done. All right, bye-bye.